On a day when the funeral for George Floyd drew national attention, mid-Missouri protesters continue to look for common ground with authorities. KRCG 13's Ashley Eddy joins us live this evening as some local medical providers gather in solidarity.
Kermit, we just saw local health providers kneel, sit, and stand here behind me for 8 minutes and 46 seconds in remembrance of George Floyd. The organizer of the event, Dr. Venkata Gupta, says he knew the medical community had to speak up since they are known as being a symbol of helping people. Medical providers from University Hospital and the VA joined, and those from the South Providence and Fulton Clinic joined on Zoom. He says today was all about showing unity and solidarity.
As a physician, whenever I hear the terms "I can't breathe," is one of those trigger words for us to jump into action. Even when I was in college and I learned CPR for the first time, one of the first things is airway. If someone doesn't have an airway, no matter what we do, it's not going to be helpful.
Columbia police union leaders are seeing fewer people wanting to be a cop as George Floyd protests continue to grow across the country. They say recruitment is down because officers face cell phone cameras, deadly weapons, and possible assaults. Columbia Police Officers Association President Dale Roberts says during a recent training session, some of his officers were told to stay calm if someone threw feces or urine on them. Roberts says Columbia is at the point where community members need to have concerns because there are not enough officers and very few people want to wear the uniform. Roberts says Columbia is short 130 officers under national standards.
There's reason for the public to be worried now. Several years ago, Mayor Treese referred to this as a public safety crisis in Columbia. We don't have enough officers, it's hard to attract them, and it's hard to keep them. We see a great deal of turnover.
Roberts says Columbia police officers need better wages for working under dangerous conditions. The average annual salary of a new Columbia police officer is about $46,000. That compares to the average annual salary of a Quick Trip manager, which is $84,000. Columbia Police Chief Jeff Jones says morale remains high among his officers because of their positive relationship with their community.
We're here to protect people's constitutional rights. We want them to be safe in doing it. But we're also going to make sure that everybody's safe and secure in the city outside of the demonstrations.
Marco Patterson is an activist as well as a photographer and an artist based in Jefferson City. He's also a father of 3 and he lives with GBS or Guillain-Barré syndrome, and it's an autoimmune disease that damages the nerves, making it difficult for Patterson to get around and making him feel very weak very quickly. But despite living with GBS, Patterson wants to contribute in his own way with his own community. He's organizing a project where portraits of families in the community will tell a story about the systemic racism Black people in America face. He says the photos are so important because they tell a story about a person, and if they were to be killed, photos are how the community would remember them. He also says he's worried for his own children.
My worry is that I hopefully live long enough to tell them, how to do these things, but you just don't know what the right answer is, because we can tell our kids everything to do right and they do it and they still get hurt, or they have a negative or a racist encounter with a law enforcement official that their mother and father pay taxes, for. So it worries me.